Hey, what is going on, everyone? It is lovely to see you all again. Today, I have another speaking lesson that you can do completely by yourself. You don't need a partner. You can do this in your home, alone, and get some great feedback on your speaking. Here's what we're going to do. I am going to ask you some questions about your job, or if you're a student, about your school. You should speak your answer and record it on your phone, and then you'll compare your answer to the example answers that I give. I'll give 2 different example answers for each question and give you some tips for your speaking. Let's get started. So first question, what is your job and what do you do at your job? So you should give the title of your job and the actions that you do while you're working. If you're a student, talk about what you're studying. Pause the video, speak and record your answer, and then compare your answer to the 2 example answers that I will give. Okay, so here is the first example. I am a full-time student right now. I am studying mathematics at Texas University. After I graduate, I am planning to get a job as a high school math teacher. So a few things with this answer. Notice how I say I am, and then the job title, which for here is student. So when someone asks your job, you can say, I am a banker, a teacher, whatever your job title. And then here, I am planning to, this is referencing the future. So you can use I am planning to, and then an action for an action that you think you will do in the future. Second example, I work for Google as a computer programmer. I do a lot of coding and help set up new websites for Google. I have worked here for 3 years. Some more tips. So you can say, I work for, and then give your company name, or I work as a, and then your job title. So here I did both. And here, set up as a phrasal verb is similar to create or start something. So this is like I help create new websites for Google. And then notice that I use the present perfect tense. I have worked here for 3 years. This is because I started in the past, so I began working 3 years ago, but I still work here now. So that's why you should use the present perfect. I have worked here. Next question. What is a usual day of work like for you? So this one should be a little bit more detailed. Describe what you do and when you do it during a regular day of work. Just like before, you can record your answer and then listen to it and compare it to the examples that I give. Okay, here's the first example for the student. I usually wake up around 8 a.m. and have classes from 9 to 1. Then I usually have lunch and relax for a few hours. In the evening, I either study on my own in my apartment or meet some friends at the library to study together. So a few things with this answer. A very common way to talk about time is to say from the start time to the end time. So this would mean that the classes start at 9 a.m. and finish at 1 p.m. And then down here, I use an either or statement. So use these when you are saying two options. So here I either study on my own, option 1, or meet some friends. Either option 1 or option 2. That's a really common structure for English sentences. Here's the second example. My work hours are pretty flexible, so I usually arrive at work sometime between 9 and 11 a.m. First, I check and answer emails, then code for a few hours. I take a lunch break around 2, then have team meetings in the afternoon. When the meetings are over, I usually code for a few more hours and head home around 6 or 7. Okay, so something to notice here. When you're talking about time, if you say between and then 2 different times, this means any moment or any time in between these. So if you start work between 9 and 11, that means sometimes you start at 9, sometimes 10, sometimes 10:30, sometimes 9:30, but 9 is the earliest and 11 is the latest time. Moving down to the end, I say here that I head home around 6 or 7. Head as a verb is similar to move or go to a certain place. So to head home just means you leave work and go home. And then similar to between 9 and 11, around 6 or 7 would mean any time in between 6 or 7. The difference is, here, these can be far apart. I could say between 7 and 11, but if you say one time or another time, they're usually pretty close together. So I wouldn't say around 6 or 9. It would be around 5 or 6, or maybe 6 or 6:30, something like that. Next question. This is about your opinion. Do you like your job? Why or why not? So explain if you like it and then explain why. So here's the example with the student. I don't really like a lot of my classes now, but I love math. Many of my classes aren't math classes, but I have to take them to graduate. I wish I could just take the classes that I'm interested in. I love math because it's super interesting to me. I'm naturally good at it, and there is always something new to learn. So a few things here. Notice how I use but in this first sentence because the first part, I don't like my classes, is the opposite of the second, I love math. So usually you want to use but when you are separating two different clauses that are opposites of each other. And then down here, if you are naturally good at something, it means that you have a talent for that thing. Even without a lot of study and practice, you are still better at it than most people. Second example, this is for the Google employee. I really like my job. When I started 3 years ago, it was a little bit stressful and I often felt overwhelmed. But I am a much better programmer now, so I can work a lot faster. The hours are flexible, my coworkers are all awesome, and I make a great salary. So, same thing here, but it's separated into two sentences. So I talk about the negatives of working at the beginning, but, and then I say how it's the opposite now. Also, you might not know this word, overwhelmed. This means very, very stressed out. You have lots of things to do and don't have enough time to do them. So if you feel overwhelmed, you are really busy, really stressed, and really tired. Final question. What job do you hope you'll have in 5 years and why? Now, this is talking about the future, so you probably want to use the future tense for most of your sentences. So this is for the college student. Like I said earlier, I hope that I'll be a high school math teacher in 5 years. I really enjoy working with high school students and sharing my love of math. I would especially enjoy teaching higher level math classes because working with bright, gifted students sounds awesome. So like I said, I want to use will here. That's I will, be a high school math teacher in 5 years. And if you watched my video about time prepositions, you'll remember that we use in when we are talking about a time in the future measured from right now. And then down here at the bottom, I enjoy working with bright, gifted students. So bright, when it's about a person, it usually means that they're very intelligent and creative. Gifted means the same thing. Usually if a person is gifted, it means that they're extremely intelligent. Okay, final example. This is for the computer programmer. I definitely want to still be working at Google in 5 years. I would love to be the lead programmer on my team or possibly a manager. There are lots of opportunities to move up in Google, so hopefully I can make that dream happen. So you might not know this phrasal verb, move up. This means to get a higher level job or to get a promotion in your company. So if you move up, it means you're getting a better, higher job. All right, guys, excellent work. Way to make it to the end of the video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, you should definitely do so because I put out new English lessons every week. Keep studying hard, guys, and I will see you in the next video.